Welcome to this edition of The Rhody Reporter. I'm your host for the segment, Mark Zaccaria. Dedicated followers of this series will recall that just a few weeks ago, alarm bells were being rung over the prospect of an incredibly progressive bill that had been voted out of committee in both chambers of the state legislature. Enigmatically entitled, An Act on Climate, the House and Senate versions each followed the same talking points. If enacted, the new law would require the governor to appoint a body called the Rhode Island Executive Climate Change Coordinating Council. This council would be required by the new law to develop very aggressive plans to wean the ocean state off of fossil fuels completely. The only permissible measure of success or failure of this effort is mandated to be total carbon dioxide output. Those plans could only be modified by court action if some plaintiff felt they were not aggressive enough. Cost be damned. Once the council's plan had been published, bureaucrats in every department of the state's executive branch would be required to write regulations and implementation procedures to make it happen. Are you listening to this madness? Is your home or business heated by oil or gas? Those are fossil fuels, dear friend. How much do you think your new electric heating system will cost to install or to run on cold days in the winter? It appears no one in the General Assembly who voted for this measure paid any attention at all to the costs which would be imposed. They're huge. Nor was any thought given to whether or not any of this was even technologically possible. According to Vaclav Smil, none other than Bill Gates' energy expert, none of this is possible using current technology. Don't feel bad if you weren't listening. Neither were your progressive legislators. Believe it or not, the Rhode Island House and Senate passed the joint version of this insanity and sent it to Governor McKee's desk for a signature. By the way, not only does your house use fossil fuels, but so do 97% of the U.S. electrical generation stations, which would be called upon to supply electricity to cover our withdrawal symptoms from petrofuels. Oh, then there's the fact that the current electrical grid in Little Rhody is too small by at least half to carry the load of all that new juice we'll need if we try to do it anyway. How long will that upgrade take? And for how much? Folks, it is absolutely essential that Governor Dan McKee veto this horror show, and then he must work the phones aggressively to pick up the 4 or 5 Democrat votes he needs in the House to sustain that veto. That makes it essential for each of us to call the governor's office at 401-222-2080 to demand that he do so. The ocean state is barely 1,000 square miles of humanity, which is immediately upwind of a 2,000-mile expanse of ocean. If we actually could stop all animal husbandry, photosynthesis, and human respiration within our borders, no one would know but the fish. Ladies and gentlemen, our electeds have taken leave of their senses. It is now up to each of us not to follow suit. I beg you to make that call several times.